What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I want to thank everyone for the love on the last vid. All the advice and support is truly appreciated. Since episode 1, I have been grinding Pokemon on just truly trying everything in my power to hit 1300. After the last game, I went on a bit of a loss streak. June 3rd, we had 3 6th place and 1 7th. Those losses took me down to 12-11 elo, where I would sit for 5 games. I really couldn't seem to find any momentum, and was just losing and gaining 3 or 4 elo every game. But by game 10, we get something going. I played Baby 7 into a sound psychic team. Just one of those games where everything goes your way. Tons of hatch units, 2 tier 3 ultras, Jirachi's just one-shotting legendaries. And of course, don't forget about the big fat whale holding up the front line. That win would bring me up to 1227 elo, and after a few more games, we would climb up to 1240 elo from this cool Fire Ghost team. I really thought this team would top 1. 3 itemized hatch units, a Skeledirge, Wonderbox on Mimikyu and Arceus. At the end of the day, ground late game is just too strong. 30 defense in both special defense and defense, tanking all of my hits, plus bad Wonderbox rolls. We just did not stand a chance. Even though it was little, I felt like we were finally making progress. A few top 4s in a row plus a win was great, and then we had an 8th place with the Light Lore Maid team. Nonetheless, my spirit can't be broken, and I hop back on the pack wagon.
What I really enjoy is giving the people that come out the experience and giving them an opportunity to get a little feel about it.
Hop in the wagon, hit the trail, and you quickly realize this was one rough ride.
After hopping on the wagon, I topped to the next game, and then for some reason I got this Water 9 kick and played Water for the next 3 games. I must have been hit on the head that day because it obviously wasn't working. I then managed to snap some brain cells together and look at these 3 games in a row. A Water 6 second place, an Aquatic 9, Rock 5 second place, and then look at this final Dark team. Rhydon Repeat Ball, a juiced up Crocodile, and then 3 legendaries, not to mention a fully itemized Dragon Seal Bisharp and Hydreigon. I'm so upset I didn't get a photo or a recording of that game. You know what I did get a recording of though? The 6th and 8th place right after to take me back down to 1240 elo. And with the 4th place, after 25 games I'm sitting at 1241 elo. So now that we're all caught up, it's time to get ready for game 26 of Road to 1300. Through the first 25 games, I learned a lot about myself. I was watching back some of the games, trying to see where I went wrong, and all I could think was, what the actual am I doing? Like a double-edged sword, more often than not I was the reason I failed or succeeded in games. My itemization, team comp, and positioning were all so unreliable, and it was like watching a headless chicken play half the games. So I decided to give myself some rules. I found my itemization to be very offensive-minded, which was making my front lines lackluster. So I was making sure that before I crafted any attacking items, I had to make at least one frontline based item, as well as making sure that I was scouting opponents more consistently and keeping track of my health better. And with these changes I felt a real difference. Regardless of any placements, I could feel myself getting better and my confidence growing. We finished the PvE rounds with nothing remarkable. We don't see any evolutions, but we do have Wild 2 active, which is okay. In the carousel I pick up a Never Melt Ice as it has great frontline potential, as well as solid backline potential. This game is also a Wigglytuff game, which I always find fun. Wigglytuff gives out missions to players which upon completion gives 30 gold. I like picking the 200 gold mission as I find most games you will earn at least 200 gold. I also decided to commit to some items in Max Revive and Red Orb. Max Revive gives Resurrection to the holder upon death, and Red Orb gives plus 10 attack, as well as attacks dealing 25% true damage now. True damage negates all defenses, which is very good against certain comps like Rock and Ground. My team is also pretty weak, so I decided to go into the round with only 2 units to guarantee I hit 20 gold. This turned out to be a great decision as my opponent's team is much stronger than me. They already have a Herdier with the Soul Dew and Muscle Band on it, as well as Field 3 and Ice 2 active. Unfortunately for Spearow, he gets resurrected and has to get beaten to a pulp for a second time. We're uncommon at Big Show, and I really want to pick up the Magnet. I'm hesitant to add Psyduck to the game though, as I get a little nervous when adding Psychic and Water units. Because if too many get added, it can make forming a Water Psychic team together pretty easy for my opponents, which will not be fun in the future. I see Scrap added, which spooks me a little. It makes Dragon 7, Water 6 a bit too easy to pull off, and I don't enjoy that. But Slowpoke isn't added, so I feel confident picking Psyduck. We pick up a Dino and Spinnerack to continue our wild start. We craft a Loaded Dice to complement our Red Orb and put them both on Spinnerack. Loaded Dice has a 50% chance to deal 75% of the damage done to the target to the lowest health adjacent enemy. This has great synergy with Red Orb, which greatly increases the unit damage. We slot Dino into the team and get ready for stage 5. Our opponent's team is pretty strong though. He has 2 frontline evolutions, as well as Rock 2 and Steel 2 active, which when combined is giving both of those frontline units plus 13 defense. Even with the true damage from our red orb, we don't really have enough firepower against his bulky tanks, who easily win our opponent the round. We then see the connection error, so I quickly load back into the match. When I do get back, there's some interesting stuff in our shop. I see a second spinner rack in addition to a Whismer as a normal sound unit. I swap him in for Dino and then pick up a Smoliv, who is also a normal unit. I sell Aspira and put his Mac Revive back onto Rattata. I then slot in Smoliv to activate normal 3 and reposition a little going into round 6. Our opponent's team is pretty weak. He has a rocky helmet on his Blipbug, which ultimately hurts him more than helps since it makes his Blipbug duplicate instead of his Metapod. With our extra shielding from normal synergy, our team is just too tanky, and slowly but surely Spinner Rack is whittling down our opponent's team. After a few more hits, we were able to come out with the win, ending our loss streak. Losing our loss streak ultimately isn't that great for us, as we miss out on 2 gold in the next round. In our next shop, there are some great units for our team. We see a Lickitung and a Minccino, both of whom we pick up. I sell Rattata and Spinner Rack and repurpose their items onto other units. I slot in both Lickitung and Minccino to get normal 4 and sound 2. Normal synergy gives shields to units and their adjacent allies, as well as giving scarves. Scarves can be used to make items, some of which are very strong. Sound synergy gives stat boost to your whole team upon a sound Pokemon casting their ability. This has great synergy with normal, as the extra shielding prolongs the fight, allowing your team to scale up. We go into the next fight with our new units and synergies, and even though we get really close to winning, our opponent with an Espeon and Braixen is just too tanky and we lose the round. This means another round with no win or loss streak, which is really hurting our economy. A bunch of great rare ad picks show, and I really don't want to add one that'll hurt me later on. I ultimately add Natu, as I want the magnet to create a Mach Ribbon, which gives a unit 20 speed every 3 seconds, which is very good with our loaded dice and red orb on Smoliv. I then go level 5 and put Lillipup into my team to get normal 5. Stage 8 starts and our opponent's team is very strong. His waterboard has 3 evolutions, 2 of them holding very good items in King's Rock and Soldew. But we do have an extra unit and 2 more items than our opponent, and with our units having in around 80 extra shield from normal synergy, they are able to tank enough for our Smoliv, who is scaling up his speed, getting ready to compete in the Olympics. And with Smoliv getting all the way up to Mach 5, we were able to win the round pretty convincingly. Stage 9 starts, and as we get ready for a fight with Gyarados, I pick up Bidoof and switch him out for Lillipup. I then scout my opponent's board, just seeing what kind of portals will pop up, and it's looking mostly like a lot of Psychic and Bug teams are being played. We beat Gyarados and are rewarded with the Twisted Spoon, which will definitely be useful in one of our Sound Mons later. Our T10 portals show, and I would really like a normal or sound unique, as both will work well with my team. My eyes are locked on the double normal portal, so I decide to skip the sound portal right in front of me. I end up missing both, and you can see I'm not happy about it. I end up going in the sound portal, which is okay. Our unique show, and we get Lapras, a very good frontline caster / tank. I honestly hate Lapras. He was a very prominent and toxic Pokemon during my least favorite meta in the game, which was Vertical Eyes. But since then, his ability has been nerfed little by little each patch, and after they finally took away his cast ability to freeze in the most recent patch, I think that Lapras is finally balanced. I do some final deliberation, and I eventually pick up Lapras. I sell my Lickitung to repurpose his items, and after putting Lapras into the team, we also get Aquatic 2 from Doof, which is always nice. I then dump money into XP and try and decide whether to go level 6 to get normal 5. Right before the round starts I do, and we go into stage 10 with normal 5. Stage 10 starts and we are up against the ground team. He has a beefed up Great Tusk, but besides that his board is pretty weak. After an Aquatic Wave spreads out his board, my team takes out the rest of his units quickly. But his Great Tusk is still very healthy and could definitely sweep. His Great Tusk then jumps on my Smoliv and takes him out quickly, but out of nowhere Bidoof does 60 true damage to Great Tusk, and Lapras quickly takes him out soon after with the cast of his ability. You see me click on Bidoof because I honestly had no idea what his ability was. He came out as the MVP of that round, for sure. The epic show, and I'm just doing some more scouting, not trying to help any of my opponents. Inky and Wilmer could definitely be great units for them, so those two definitely are being added. I then pick up Igglybuff, who after she evolves into Jigglypuff will be a normal sound unit. I then finally pick Murkrow as well as a second Whismer for the shop, and get ready for stage 11. Stage 11 starts and our opponent's team is still pretty weak. He has no sources of damage to take down my bulky frontline protecting my Smoliv, who is gradually scaling from the Mach Ribbon and sound buffs. My opponent's Standler then tries to jump on Smoliv, but he beats his ass for even trying. My team then finally decides to take out the Spaz, who's been teleporting across the board all around. After he's dealt with, Smoliv puts Belt to Ass on Standler again just to send a message. Time for our stage 12 carousel, which we're going to be moving towards the end. The item component I actually want isn't here. Right now I'm looking for a Fossil Stone. With that I could turn Lapras into a normal type and get normal 7 much easier. Out of all the components left, I think that the Miracle Seed will be my best option, so I decided to pick it up. I could use it later on to make a Big Eater Belt or King's Rock for my Lapras. I then dump some money into XP and get ready for the next round. I notice I'm on a win streak of 3, so I decide to tempo and hit level 7. I start rolling and I'm looking for another sound unit to activate sound 4, which will give my team even more stab buffs. I find a Lotad and put him in my team. I then do one more roll and evolve my Whismer into Loudred, and I'm ready for stage 12. The round starts and our opponent has a decent ice team with some evolutions. Our team is just too tanky though, and without a strong damage dealer, they can't stop my team from scaling up and overpowering them. My Smoliv with his nasty item set is able to finish off his Arctozolt and almost the rest of his team as well. He does get taken out by my opponent's Vanillite though, but my Lapras assures him it's not in vain and takes out the rest of his team. Round 13 starts and I sell a Leapup and pick up Munchlax since he's a bit more tanky. I also hold a Whismer in the shop and get ready for round 13. We are up against first, and the only team that is tankier in the early game than normal is Rock. We are putting up a good fight and looking okay, but after Iron Thorns casts his ability and gets all 20 stacks on his Muscle Band, no one on my team has the firepower to stop him. He finishes off each of my units one by one, and I think that Smoliv might be able to put up a fight, but it's not enough, and his Iron Thorn sweeps my whole team. Next round is our PvE fight against Mewtwo and Mew. I hold my Whismer again, and for beating Mewtwo and Mew, we get our Fossil Stone. This lets us craft a friend bow, which gives normal synergy to its holder. We put it on Lapras, and we finally pick up our Whismer from the shop. I decide to do a roll, and we get a second Iggly buff. I then keep rolling to find a Jigglypuff. This will let me activate Normal 7 and Sound 4, which will give me a huge power spike. After finding a second Loudred in the shop, I create Choice Specs from 2 Twisted Spoons. And finally we find our Jigglypuff, getting Normal 7, Sound 4 activated. Choice Specs gives the holder 100 ability power. This will turn our Loudred into a solid second carry for the team. I then finally craft a Big Eater Belt and put it on Lapras. Big Eater Belt will raise all of Lapras' stat buffs by 25%. After a long prep phase, we are definitely ready for stage 15. We come against last place, whose team is okay, but after a huge power spike, my units tank all of his damage so easily. The fight is getting drawn out, which is exactly what I want. It's giving my Smoliv time to boost his speed and attack from our sound synergy. His Wingull decides to help our team by casting Whirlwind, sending both of our units behind Lapras. By now it's too late and Smoliv has passed Mach 5. His Iron Bundle stands no chance and we win round 15. I look at the battle stats and our 1-star common unit has done nearly 400 damage and carries our team. We do nothing in the time leading up to stage 16 as we just got back to 50 gold. We are up against this Psychic 7 team. He has a really tanky Hitmontop but no real damage dealers behind him. It seems the fight is in a stalemate, but once Lapras cast, he's able to get the whole team to about half HP, and from there it's barbecue chicken for Smoliv.
Barbecue chicken alert! Barbecue chicken alert!
We come out, we bang 2 threes, they got to come out of the zone, they start going man, and then, it's barbecue chicken from there.
I apologize. I'm not familiar with the barbecue chicken expression. I was just wondering what you meant by that.
You can look it up on Urban Dictionary.
We go into the round 17 carousel, and I really want a Mystic Water. Sound Synergy loves getting as much PP generation as possible, so almost any type of PP item would be great. However, with us moving second to last, both Mystic Waters get taken before I can even move. I decide to pick up a Heart Skill as a constellation, hoping I can maybe craft some item that could be useful for Lapras or our Legendary. I'm doing some scouting on my opponent's board, and the person in 6th place is a problem. They have 6 Dittos on their bench and a complete crit cast set. They also pick up a Ralts. If they aren't taken out soon, I'm not sure if anyone will be able to stop them late game. Hold up, you only see 4 Dittos? Okay, let me explain. Okay, today's lesson. What are unknowns and how do I use them to their fullest potential? One of the bonus effects of Psychic Synergy is that unknowns appear in your shops. There are 28 different unknowns, each with different abilities. Our opponent has 2 unknown Ds on his bench, which each give a Ditto upon casting their ability. Of the 28 unknowns, there are 5 that I feel should be used in every single Psychic game. Unknown D, I, O, W, and exclamation mark. Unknown D and W can help find high rarity evolutions. Unit quality is an important aspect of pack, so getting strong evolutions late game is very good. Unknown I gives you item components upon casting. I feel like I don't need to explain why these are good. Unknown exclamation mark, my favorite, puts 4 unknowns in each corner after casting. This is the best offensive unknown and should be used in every Psychic team if possible. And lastly, Unknown O. This gives each of your units a dish upon casting. During PvE rounds, you should be using this to give your whole team buffs for the next fight. Now that you're an Unknown Pro, let's get back to the match. Going into round 17, all we've done is dump money into XP. We go into the round and our opponent is level 8 with a Psychic Water team. He has a War Turtle with a Soul Dew and Choice Specs along with a pretty beefy front line. His units are overwhelming my team, and after my Lapras jumps into his backline, the rest of my frontline is taken out by their abilities. It's not looking good. We're gonna need a... Smoliv uses One for All to save the team from defeat, doing over 550 damage to our opponent's team. He truly is a star man. Before we head into the fight of Stage 18, I do some scouting on my opponent's board and dump money into XP. Since the last time we fought him, all he's added is a Gastrodon, so it should be a simple fight. The round starts, and his positioning makes his squishy units walk in front of his 2 tanks in Gastrodon and Great Tusk. After help from an Aquatic Wave, Lapras is able to take out half of his team, and by now our sound units have scaled up and are dealing some serious damage to his Great Tusk. After he's taken out, it's just his Gastrodon left, and by then the round is over and we get the victory. Time for our fight with Lugia and Ho. We dump money into XP, and for our win we get a Twisted Spoon and Charcoal. We get ready for our legendary portals, and I see this normal portal right in front of me. I'm hoping for Meloetta, who has the perfect synergies for my team and will be a great replacement for Smoliv. I also craft a Pokenomicon, as Whismur is a great holder of it. We see Type Null, who's a solid frontline unit and will be a good replacement for my Munchlax. Type Null, upon receiving a tool, will evolve into Savali. As well, if he is given any item such as a stone or tool that affects his typing, he can take them off and is given a disc of that type instead. It is a little confusing, but it makes Savali one of the most versatile units in the game. We pick up Type Null and swap him in for our Munchlax. I start rolling and accidentally miss the Honedge in my shop, who has Artificial Synergy. I keep rolling, and eventually I see Honedge and Baltoy, who both have Artificial Synergy. But once again, I don't put them into my team, and I miss out on my evolution to Savali. I don't know if I was being ignorant or having a brain fart, but that was a huge blunder. The first round of the endgame starts, and we're up against Ditto Boy. My units are putting in good work, and it's looking like they'll have time to scale up, but after one cast, Curlia nukes half my team and all hope is lost.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
What are you doing, bro? I'm gone, bro. He's just not legit. It's obvious it's fucking not legit, bro. I'm not even about to argue with that, bro. The fuck? Whoever I was playing, bro, I hope your fucking PlayStation 5 explodes at 6:50 a.m. in the morning, bro, before you catch a school bus, bro.
Yeah, that Curlia had to be hacking for the amount of damage they just did. We move on, though. I pick up a second Bidoof, and then do a couple more rolls, then we find the holy grail of any sound team. Grookey, in my opinion, is a top 3 unit in the game, strictly because of his passive ability. If Grookey has no enemies in his range, he will sit still and beat his drum. For every attack Grookey does, he will give PP to adjacent allies. This is insanely strong in any team, but for Sound, whose whole purpose is to cast their abilities, it is truly game-changing. To make sure my team gets most out of Grookey's passive, I put him in the middle of my board, so each of my carries is getting PP. In the background, I've also picked up a second Minccino. Round 21 begins, and Grookey is definitely the star of our Pocket Monster band. While Lapras and Type Null, who for some reason I still haven't evolved, are in their backline taking all their damage, Grookey is playing his heart out, but Loudred definitely has something to say as well. His words echo throughout the other team, but unfortunately his voice is so bad it is burning their ears. Throughout all of this, Jigglypuff has been singing sweet lullabies, trying to save the opponent's ears from Loudred. But by now it's too late. We're at the climax of the song, and Loudred just keeps screaming, burning their team alive. However, the true hero is our dancing Olive, who on round 21 is still carrying our team. Round 22 Carousel, and oh my god, we've been blessed. Instead of items, we have been brought tools. I see a surfboard which I immediately lock in on. This will let me activate Aquatic 4, which will be a solid damage and healing buff for my team. Also, we have completed Wigglytuff's mission, and have been rewarded with 30 gold. Thank you for the delivery, Chatot. I pick up the surfboard and then decide to dump money into XP, going all the way to level 9. This will let us get Sound 6 active. I do one roll and see if Fuecoco. This is my 6th sound unit. After the carousel is over, I pick him up and add him into my team. After 2 rounds, I finally evolve Type Null into Savali by putting the surfboard on him. I then take it off and put the surfboard on Fuecoco and the aquatic disc back on Savali. We now have Aquatic 4 and Sound 6, which gives units PP every time a sound unit uses their ability, which is huge. With the help from Normal 7 and Aquatic 4, our units will be able to scale up even faster now. We were up against the Rock Monster team in first, but unlike last time, we can easily deal with all that defense. With Small's Red Orb and the help from the Aquatic Wave, we were able to deal tons of true damage to our opponent's team. As well, Loudred is dealing good damage from his Pokénomicon and his ability. And while all our opponent's units are focused on Lapras, in the back our units have been scaling up from Sound 6 and we're able to easily get the win. I don't make any changes to my team, but I do scout my opponent's boards. I scout the player with Kirlia and decide to position my team in front of theirs so my units stay around my Grookey. However, I end up doing this a few rounds too early and completely mess up my team's positioning. We go up against the team in last, and as my units walk towards theirs, only Fuecoco and Smoliv stay next to Grookey. Because of my team's awful positioning, our units are able to be targeted by their frontline units. With all my damage dealers dead, we lose a round we easily could have won. Stage 24 means it's time for our PvE fight with the legendary birds. For our victory, we get some not very great items. Smoke Ball is useless for me, and Shiny Charm and Gracidia Flower aren't amazing. I pick up Shiny Charm thinking it'll help my Sevalia survive the Psychic Team's super powerful cast. In hindsight though, Gracidia Flower was definitely the better choice. It would have been a great buff for my Grookey and the 2 carries. During stage 25, I start rolling, picking up any units that can be evolved on my team. I find a Barrel and have 4 other possible units on my bench waiting to be evolved. I'm also looking for a Porygon to replace my Smoliv. I don't want to replace my team's Golden Boy, but if I want a chance against these Psychic teams, it's what has to be done. The fight starts, and we come up against this Water Psychic team. I mess up my positioning again, and his Kyogre immediately hits a huge cast on my carries, and from there I have no loss. I just don't have any evolutions to survive his massive AoE cast, and our situation is looking dire after an overwhelming defeat. Stage 26 begins, and I'm trying to find some evolutions. I'm down to 2 lives, and I don't want to lose anymore. I buy the 8th Whismur in my shop, and now I'm 1 away from an Exploud. I keep rolling, and eventually I find a Porygon, which is definitely a good buff for my team. Thank you for all you've done, Smoliv. I repurpose Smoliv items onto Porygon, and then put him into my team. I don't realize though that I've activated Artificial 2 with my Porygon. My tool is XP Share, which lets the holder share all the buffs of adjacent allies in the same row. This would have been a huge buff for my Grookey, and another mistake made in the late game. We are up against the Psychic team again, and his crit cast Kirlia is like an evil princess, hitting all my units in their weak spots after every cast. It's not just this Kirlia though, it's everyone. It's like I'm fighting the damn Akatsuki. His Zatu's like a brick wall, eating up all my attacks and reflecting all my special damage. Alongside his Celebi's healing, we're down to our last life. To think the Natsu I added in round 8 would be my downfall. It's time for our carousel, and we do get to move first, which is nice. There's one item that would be game changing for my team. Green Orb would be an amazing item for my Grookey. It gives 5% max HP every 2 seconds, and if it already had max HP, it turns Overheal into PP generation. With my units already being way over their max HP with their shield from normal synergy, my Sanias will have even more PP generation. Since we move first, we're able to get the Green Orb with no competition. And bang! Thwackey in the shop. We pick him up, and that's a huge buff for my team. I put the Green Orb on Thwackey, and after a little hesitation, the XP Share as well. Now Thwackey will also get the ability power from the Choice Specs and Pokénomicon that Loudred is holding. I look at first place's board as well, and he's finally got his Gardevoir. It might be over for the lobby. I also got the Rock team, who will be my opponent next round. I see he has some dark types, so I move my Jigglypuff and Barrel into the backline, so my Thwackey won't get targeted and can jump to his heart's content. The fight begins, and somehow his Bisharp and Tyranitar get into my backline. It seems like the teams are in a stalemate, but once Thwackey gets a cast off, my opponent's team is ripped to shreds. All my sound units start singing away, and my Porygon is getting buffed through the roof from Sound Synergy and his Mach Ribbon. And after my Jigglypuff puts their whole team to sleep, we easily get the victory and make it to top 2. The only team left is the Psychic Gardevoir team, but before our next fight we have the Legendary Dogs. For our victory we get a Stardust, Pokénomicon, and Protective Pads. I pick up the Stardust and put it on Silvally, just trying to help my team survive in any way. I also get extremely lucky and am able to evolve Minccino and Loudred into Cinccino and Exploud. I move my Bibarel, Jigglypuff back into their positions, and we get ready for the next round. I just hope we've done enough to get the win.
The Akatsuki is now assembled. Conan, Itachi, Kisame, Sasori, Deidara, Kakuzu, Hida, Orochimaru, and Zetsu.
The final round starts, and everything seems okay. My team is putting up a good fight, and it's looking like we could win, but Gardevoir has other plans. After a single cast, she does 1500 to my team, wiping everyone out. Everything is gone. The rest of my units fall soon. All that's left is my Lapras, who is forced to kneel before the queen.
You're selling Krabby Patties, eh, Plankton?
That's right, Squidward. And there's a free bucket helmet with every purchase. Care for one?
No! You may have hoodwinked everyone else in this backwater town, but you can't fool me. I listen to public radio.
And what's that supposed to mean?
It means you set up Mr. Krabs. You stole the crown so Neptune would freeze him and you could finally get your stubby little paws on the Krabby Patty formula. It was you all along. But you made one fatal mistake. You messed with my paycheck. And I'm gonna report you to the highest authority in the land, King Neptune.
We'll see about that, Inspector Loose Lips.
Now activating helmet brain control devices.
Huh? What?
All hail Plankton.
What's going on here?
All hail Plankton. Seize him, slaves! All hail Plankton.
Get out of here!
All hail Plankton. Who can stop me now?
We got second place in a game with lots of ups and downs. Definitely made quite a few mistakes that maybe could have given me a chance to win. But this series is all about improving and getting better, so be ready for the next. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much, and I'll see you in episode 3.